there's a couple issues that I have with this. Obviously, the AI image is lame. It's gross. There is a million different images that you can post, real images of real Palestinian people that are suffering. Okay? Like, there are a million different real images you could have posted instead of this shit. And it's very performative. But, and I don't care about the AI aspect of it from that front, but I do care, and I do wish that it was a real image, because it is important to see Palestinians in that regard, especially when it's so broadly shared. Having said that, once again, I'm not talking about the AI aspect of it. Okay? I'm not talking about the AI aspect of it. I don't care about that at all. What I do care about is the millions of people that are posting this right now. Okay? Why do I care about this? Because it signals to people that you can be pro-Palestine and not get punishments, not get censored, not lose your fucking job. Okay? That is huge. Why is that huge? That shit's at like 50 million, 60 million reshares at this point. Why is that huge? It's fucking huge because up until this very moment, there is no way that people can openly say that they're pro-Palestinian without being afraid of the repercussions. Okay? I don't think you guys, I mean, you guys should understand this better than anybody else because you're in this community. You're in this community. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've experienced it. Many of you have been fucking arrested for being pro-Palestinian, for participating in the encampments. Okay? There are repercussions. I know that on TikTok, being pro-Palestine kind of bangs. You go viral or whatever. But everywhere else in the real world, there are actual repercussions for it, which is precisely the reason why a lot of people, both because they're afraid that they're going to be called anti-Semitic, and also because they don't truly know what the fuck's going on down to the wire, and there's a lot of misinformation from the outlets that they're getting this information from, or a lot of omission, lies by omission, as we've seen. Even when they're talking about the Rafah situation on BBC, they keep talking about it like, oh, Israel had a fucking oopsie. All right, shut the fuck up, you know? Maybe there shouldn't have been guns there next to the tents. It's actually the Palestinians' fault that they're dying, right? That is making people obviously confused and scared to openly state what their opinion is, even if they have, for months at this point, felt a feeling in their hearts that, you know, this is pretty fucking unconscionable. Okay? So, the reason why I still think this is a relatively positive situation is that it's good that 70 million people on Instagram and many Americans and many celebrities now feel confident saying that they are pro-Palestinian. Okay? You're talking about people who have never said a single fucking thing about Palestinians. Okay? You're talking about people who have never, ever in a million years I would have ever thought would be posting fucking donation links to UNRWA. It's crazy. It is crazy. This is a Zionist's worst nightmare, dude. If you are completely invested in the genocidal fascist project of maintaining a Jewish majority Israel, you see the Western world get this fucking loud about Palestinian humanity, you have to shudder. You have to notice that your project is on its last legs. Okay? So yes, while I think it's kind of silly that the first and only thing that many people have done so far is post a fucking shitty AI image. And I totally understand why Palestinians that are both on the ground in Gaza, victim to this genocide, and also Palestinians in diaspora, and also Palestinian advocates, okay? All of these people are very understandably agitated about this thing, and they're like, this is all you got? What the fuck are you doing? Call your congresspersons. And they're right for saying that, okay? They're right for saying that. In spite of all the criticisms, I do have a different perspective on the matter. This is massive. Okay? This is massively, massively important. Here's another post that I posted I posted like a day ago as well. It's a mistake, but it's not a mistake. It's a pattern. That's also, something that people are broadly sharing. Motaz posts images every single day that do more to show the reality in Rafah, that you can put the text all eyes on Rafah over that instead of AI bullshit. I know, guys. I know. Why are you guys telling me this? You're missing the point that I'm trying to make. While I get the frustrations that many people have, the fact that this is so popular and it has given people the courage to even fucking remotely say something pro-Palestinian across the board is actually an unimaginable sea change. Okay? And I don't think every single person is saying like, I'm gatekeeping activism. I was there first. Where were you 6 months ago? Where were you 4 months ago? Okay? I don't think a lot of people are saying just that. Some people are. Some people are gatekeeping activism, and that's weird and lame and gross. Who cares? But a lot of people have valid criticisms. And I think those valid criticisms should be addressed. There's very real gruesome images, or maybe even images of hope that you could post. And then write all eyes on Rafah over this. That is important because Palestinian emancipation can only be met if Palestinian humanity is addressed. You can only do a genocide on a population if you actively have successfully dehumanized them, which Israel has, which the American media has as well. So you have to show the humanity of the Palestinians. I know this very well, and that's precisely the reason why many Zionist publications or Zionist institutions literally will smear you and say you're an anti-Semite for even advocating for Palestinian emancipation, Palestinian humanity. That's why we just showed you the article earlier about Jenna Ortega for the crime of posting Free Palestine in 2021, Times of Israel, compared her to fucking Kanye West. Ask the question, dare ask the question, who's a bigger anti-Semite, Jenna Ortega for saying Palestinians are fucking human beings, or Kanye West? It is that important. And that's precisely the reason why it's important that this image would have been better if it had real Palestinians, okay? But regardless of the many valid criticisms against this, regardless of the many valid criticisms against the image in and of itself, I think the image and its popularity and the corresponding donation links that are fucking popping off right now, even on Instagram by normies, not just like people on TikTok, not just TikTok influencers, not just activists, not just advocates, but normies. Posting this shit is huge. Okay? It's huge. And the reason why I will, unfortunately, I have so much love for my Palestinian friends, both in diaspora and also in Gaza and in the West Bank. I have so much love for all of the advocates that have been a part of this pro-Palestinian emancipation movement for far longer than anybody else However, there is one disagreement that I do have with them on this issue. A lot of people are comparing this to the BLM black square, right? And I have made this comparison, or rather, I've addressed this comparison before, so you probably will recognize it. I've talked about Black Lives Matter as a domestic issue in terms of white supremacy and pro-Palestinian emancipation as a foreign policy issue, and the major differences between black liberation, or at least criticisms of police brutality that disproportionately targets black people, versus Palestinian emancipation. Because the material conditions are very different for the Palestinians, and because of their proximity to America, because of all of the counter narratives in terms of Hasbara, in terms of ultra-Zionists constantly eliminating Palestinian voices as they conduct an apartheid, as they conduct an ethnic cleansing campaign, awareness is key. Okay? If awareness wasn't significant for Palestinians, if even someone saying, I think I'm pro-Palestine, a random white lady by the name of Becky or Karen or Rachel, if a random white person saying, I'm actually pro-Palestinian wasn't so fucking significant, there wouldn't be this level of punishment across the board up until this very moment for even saying such things. Okay? And now you got it. You got the Barbaras. That's huge. Okay? You got the Rebeccas and the Barbaras and the Karens. They're posting about fucking Palestine. That's crazy. That's a good thing. Because, and I will reiterate this point, which I made with a very important academic that I love, Mark Lamont Hill. As you guys know, I had this conversation with him personally, and he agreed with me on the matter as well. The conditions for the Palestinians in the West Bank and the conditions of the Palestinians in Gaza are significantly worse. This is not oppression Olympics. It's significantly worse than the conditions that black people face in contemporary American society. This does not mean that the situation is great for black people in a white supremacist nation. Of course not. It just shows you how bad it is. And therefore, even awareness alone of the humanity of Palestinians is massively consequential. And that is precisely the reason why Israel and Zionist Hasbara agents have routinely tried to stop people from acknowledging the humanity of Palestinians, turning them into just enemies, just terrorists, barbarians that operate in a monolithic, sometimes antiquated, ancient anti-Semitism. It is hard. Many people come in here and say, Hasan, how can you be so positive? Or how do you continue? How do you continue seeing such gruesome images? Okay? And on this issue, I will tell you, I have in my lifetime seen a dramatic change in the way that we view Palestinian emancipation in the Western world. A dramatic change that I never thought could happen. There is nothing that gives me more confidence than recognizing that in the Western world, there are now millions more people, especially in our generation, that truly see the inhumanity of the Israeli Zionist regime, recognizing the apartheid, recognizing Israel's genocidal actions. That is massive. Okay? That is massive. Every person's voice in this instance matters. Every single new person, every single new Barbara or Deborah that posts all eyes on Rafah, even if it's a fucking AI post, matters. It creates a new vector of pressure. It creates a new pressure point. The ICC, the UN General Assembly, the UN Security Council, making decisions that oftentimes, obviously, get almost always get vetoed by the one most significant UN Security Council voter member state, the United States of America. That doesn't, and immediately when you see that, you're like, oh, these guys are fucking symbolic. Fuck these guys. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that the United States is stopping every step of the way. Stopping progress every step of the way. Okay? It is yet another avenue of pressure. This is why I've been stressing. Okay? This is why I have been stressing over and over and over again how important it is to not stop protesting, to not stop calling your congresspersons. Okay? I completely disagree. This decontextualized the whole issue. Deborah and Barbara can only support it because it's decontextualized. Doesn't point at perpetrators. Doesn't even name the issue. Is just an offensive, defanged activism. Any Palestinians straying away from the victim category that this creates will be labeled as an obstacle to peace. Remember how the shift followed, singling out Netanyahu as the sole problem here? Brother, I don't think you understand. That is an exit ramp that the American government refuses to take. Anything in the immediate that stops the further bloodshed of Palestinians is good. What do you think I want them to have a protracted people's war against the Israeli Zionist entity? Like, what are you talking about? You think I want more fucking Palestinian children to die? What a psychotic fucking attitude. No. As a Palestinian, I hated this AI shit, but I guess I agree with you that the more mainstream it is to be pro-Palestinian, the better. Absolutely. Every Palestinian I've talked to, far before October 7 and far after October 7 as well, always would stress the importance of awareness. A lot of the stuff that we laugh at during the BLM protests, of people being like, ooh, I'm a white lady and I'm reading Ibram Kendi now. Like, I'm learning. You know? All of that shit that we laugh at, that would be massively consequential for the Palestinians if people did that, actually. Because that's an introduction to the humanity of Palestinians. That's an introduction to the history and the massive wrongs that were committed. Americans have already made up their fucking minds on black people. They grow up in a white supremacist society. Reading Ibram Kendi is not changing the reality that they're direct beneficiaries of white supremacist constructs to a certain degree. But when it comes to the Palestinians, they're fucking out there. They're all the way over there. They don't do nothing to you. If anything, it's just all negative. From the perspective of the working class, it is directly negative to just keep giving, since 1948, $300 fucking billion to the state of Israel. This genocidal apartheid regime. $300 billion. More companies in the NASDAQ that are Israeli owned than fucking India, Japan, and Korea combined. The relationship that we have with Israel, in the eyes of the average American, is unimaginable. They're like, what the fuck are we doing? What is this? You explain that to an average American, they're going to be like, what are you saying? I had no fucking idea. Think about the amount of waste in terms of tax dollars. Going to do what? Murdering children? Who the fuck would say yes to that? You have to be the biggest fucking psychopath. You have to be literally an evangelical dick rider, an evangelical Christian Zionist